Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Alif Akmal bin Roslan and you can call me Alif. My student ID is SW0107159. So today I'm going to talk about a logical board game which is chess. So why do I choose chess as my topic for the video? Well, to be honest, chess is the first thing that came to mind when I was given the task to explain the rules and also the algorithm to win the game. So without further ado, let's get started. So I initially thought I have a chess piece set at home, but turns out I don't anymore. So in order to demonstrate the game for you guys, I will be recording this software here. So this is the initial setup for a game of chess. The white player begins the game and make a move, while then the black one will make a move. Both players will take turns to move their piece until the end of the game. So as you can see here, both sides have a rank of pawns on the second row and on the 7th row. The rook piece belongs onto the corner squares, and for both sides, the knight belongs next to the rook, then the bishop, followed by the queen, and lastly the king. So another rule of thumb to make sure that you place all of the pieces correctly is that the white queen belong on the white square while the black queen belong on the black square. So when you finally place all of them correctly, all of the pieces should be opposite from one another. For example here, the black bishop will be opposite for the white bishop while the black king will be opposite from the white king. The rook piece moves in a vertical or a horizontal direction for any number of squares. So for this position, the rook can move to any of the squares I have outlined here in orange. So when you want to capture an enemy in chess, simply move the piece to the space it occupies and remove it from the game. The bishop piece moves in a diagonal direction like so. So for this position, the rook piece can go to any of the squares I have outlined here in orange. The queen piece can move like a rook and also a bishop. So for example, the queen can move in a plus direction just like a rook and also can move in a diagonal direction just like a bishop. So for instance, in this position, the queen can move to any of the squares I have outlined here in orange. So the knight can move to any of these squares I have highlighted here. So the way it moves is actually in the shape of L, for example like this. So it can go to here or even here and lastly to here. And the thing is, knight is the only piece that can jump over other piece. So for example, if there were any piece surrounding the knight, you can simply jump over them and go to any of these squares. So the next piece is the pawn. For each pawn, from its original position, you can only move 1 or 2 squares forward. And then from then on, they can only move 1 square forward. So for example, let's say I have this pawn here and move 2 squares forward and the black one moves 1 square forward. Both of these squares can only move 1 square forward further on. So now it's white turn. Let's say I put this here 2 squares forward and then the black one moves 2 squares forward as well. You may think that the pawn on g4 can capture this opponent pawn, but it actually cannot, because pawn capture other pieces diagonally forward, so either this way or this way. So in fact, this pawn on g4 here are simply stuck and cannot move or even capture other piece, so it just has no other legal move. But the pawn on the side here can move forward or capture the opposing piece. So now you already wondered, the pawn can only move forward but not backwards. So what happens when this pawn finally manages to get to the last row of the opponent? Well, let's see what happens. For example, I move this piece here, then it goes here, this here, but goes here. here, and finally white goes here. So what happens when you finally reach the last row is that the pawn will get promoted to either the queen, the knight, rook, or bishop. So technically, in a game, you can have at most 9 queens in a board, but this is very unlikely to happen. So the objective of chess is to checkmate the king. The king can move one square towards any direction. So from this position, the king can move to any of the squares I have highlighted here in orange. So the term check refers to the king being attacked. So in this case, it's white turn to move, and if I put the rook here to a3, the king is in check. So while being attacked, you need to get out of it, you need to do something. So in chess, there are 3 ways how to get out of check. You can either move to a safe square, block the check, or capture the checking piece. So in this case, the king can move to this square. This is one of the many safe squares. This is all the other safe squares the king can move to, all here. Or next, you can block the check by placing a piece in the middle of the checking piece and the king. And lastly, you can also capture the checking piece. So for the next example, this is now white's turn, and if I put this rook here to b8, the black is in checkmate. It's in checkmate because it cannot move away to a safe square, block the check, or capture the checking piece. So this king here cannot move to a safe square because these 3 squares are being guarded by the white king, and also cannot move to these 3 squares because it's being guarded by the white rook. This bishop also cannot block the check or even capture the checking piece. So because of that, the black is in checkmate and the game is over. So what I understand from the game is that you should think a few steps ahead from your current position so that you can plan your moves in order to reach your goals or objectives. In this case of chess is to checkmate the king and win the game. Now I'm going to answer how chess is a problem-solving game to me. Well, I consider chess as an analytical problem-solving assignment in which I have to carefully consider the legal moves of each chess piece and construct a plan to check the king and ultimately win the game via checkmate. And with that, I hope you can gain some useful information from my video. And if you have any opinion, you can freely share them to the comment section below, and thank you for watching.